Hot xxx Erotic Sex Stories. BBW, Paranormal, Group Sex, Lesbian, and More, Bundle 1. Written by Hanna Love. Narrated by TK Love. Fucked by My Friend's Partner. Written by Hanna Love. Narrated by TK Love. Hey honey, the newbies are moving in, Ruby called out to her husband Kev, who was sitting at the kitchen table reading the newspaper. Come away from the window. You don't want them to think that they've moved somewhere that they have nosy neighbors, do you? Give them a chance to get moved in, and then we can go over and introduce ourselves. I know, honey. I'm just curious. It's been such a long time since anyone new moved in. I was hoping that they would be more fun than the miserable old tosser that's just gone. Their old neighbor was a guy named Matthew, who, although he was only in his mid-40s, he may as well have been of pensionable age. He was so old-fashioned and miserable and always moaning when kids played in the street. His mother had recently taken ill, so he had sold his property to go back home to look after her. Most of the street had cheered when he had left. Although everyone around here was friendly enough, they also didn't live in each other's pockets and tended to say good morning when they saw each other, which may not be from week to week. That was the only thing that Ruby wasn't too keen on around here, and that was that she hadn't made any close friends. Her and Kev had lived in Mosside Avenue for almost 4 years now, and were very happy in their lives, but Ruby just wished that she had someone else to talk to when Kev was at work. Ruby couldn't work due to a problem with her spine, but fortunately Kev had a good job, and they managed okay. Ruby kept the house immaculate and always had a meal ready for Kev when he came home, but that only took up so much of her day. She was now fed up with the daytime soaps and thought if she watched another The Young and the Restless or Days of Our Lives that she could probably write the scripts for them. The bottom line was Ruby was lonely. She and Kev couldn't have children due to her spinal condition, and her mother had long since moved to Florida to live with her toy boy husband, so she was very much alone during the daytime. Kev was a super thoughtful husband who was also springing flowers or other surprise gifts on her, but he worked long hours and often came home tired out. Oh, good. They both look about our age. Ruby was still peeking around the edge of the drapes. It doesn't look as though they have any children, either. There's no sign of kids' stuff going in. Okay, babe, laughed Kev. I know you won't be happy until you've said hello to them, so how about we take them a tray over? I'm sure they would love your homemade cookies, and I've still got that bottle of bubbly I got from work, hidden away at the back of the fridge somewhere. What do you say? Yes, please, smiled Ruby happily. Just give me 2 minutes to sort out my hair and lipstick. You get the cookies while I get ready. She planted a kiss on his cheek as she hurried to retrieve her hairbrush from the depths of her enormous purse. Hi, nice to meet you. I'm Simon, said the smiling man at the door, who had his hand outstretched ready to shake. I'm Kev, and this is my wife Ruby. Welcome to the neighborhood, smiled Kev, shaking the offered hand vigorously. Ruby stood behind him, suddenly shy at seeing this guy close up. He was a dead ringer for George Clooney, and she could have literally swooned at his feet, but for the fact that with her back, she would never get up again. Honey, called Simon up the stairs, come and meet our new neighbors. They've brought cookies and bubbly. I told you we would be okay here, didn't I? He smiled to Ruby, whispering. I hope you're talkative. Barbara is quite shy in front of strangers. She can't work, and so she's not used to meeting new people. Ruby felt empathy for Barbara as soon as she came down the stairs. She could tell that she was shy, but she was as gorgeous as her husband, and just as welcoming. Hello, how kind of you, she smiled, shaking their hands. I'm sorry we haven't got to the glasses yet, but I'm sure I can find us some mugs to drink out of if you don't mind. She bustled off into the kitchen, and both Kev and Ruby watched the wiggle of her ass in fascination. Half an hour later, they were sitting on bar stools, sharing their second bottle. Barbara had thoughtfully put a nice Chardonnay in the fridge as soon as they had arrived, thinking that they could have that when they were in the need of a rest from unpacking. They were chatting away like old friends, Ruby and Barbara finding that they had more in common than just not being able to work. They both originally hailed from Missouri, and both had a parent living in Florida. Kev looked at his beloved wife's smiling face and was glad that she and Barbara had hit it off. He knew how lonely she could get during the day. I have an idea, smiled Kev. There's an excellent Chinese restaurant in town, and they do a fabulous carry-out. How about I order us something from there? It will save anyone cooking, and we can give you a hand moving stuff. Only if you would like us to, of course. He looked questioningly towards Simon. Barbara broke in.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?